Hey pups, RP here, and welcome back to another r/entitled parents video. And this is a special Christmas edition of r/entitled parents because even during the holiday season, it is not safe from entitled parents, nor entitled children themselves. And entitled parents and their little demon spawns are littered everywhere, especially during the holiday season. I don't know what is up with entitled parents and Christmas, but it's pretty much an everyday Thursday for them. Whether it be Christmas, a Monday, or any other day, including holidays, entitled parents are not above anything else, really. But it is a million times worse on Christmas, and I have absolutely no idea why. So, with that being said, grab some Christmas candy, some popcorn, some drinks, whatever you want, and let's get this video started. This next story is by Jub Actually. That is a very interesting username, sir. And this one involves yet another entitled adult getting angry over someone having a dead relative. This is gonna be fun. This takes place on Christmas Day a few years ago at my grandmother's house. It's right before the actual Christmas dinner, and the dining room table had been set. The adults are cooking, chatting in the kitchen. My cousins, my brother, and I are playing a long game of Monopoly in the living room. Now let's meet the cast. EA, entitled Aunt, GA, Great Aunt, who recently lost her husband a month before, GM, Grandmother, C, Cousin, and of course, little old me. Not actually Mimi, the OP in the story. Sorry for any confusion. Moving on. So C and I were playing a very intense game of Monopoly. We spent over 8 hours of our Christmas playing this game, and I was barely winning over C. This will be important later. EA walking by, heading into the kitchen. Who's winning? OP is right now, but I think I'm about to catch up. Cousin rolls a 5 and lands on one of my Monopolies. Not if you're gonna keep rolling like that. That's gonna be $220. EA gives C a look of disappointment and sighs. Just win, C. EA heads into the kitchen to talk to the other adults. About a minute or two later, GM calls for us to head to the dinner table. We get to the table only to see EA standing over GA. GA, what do you think you're doing?
What do you mean?
You're in my spot. I always sit there for holiday dinners. GA with quick wittiness.
Really? Well, I don't see your name on it.
EA fuming. Get out of my seat! Now, as I stated earlier, GA recently lost her husband to cancer about a month ago. Her, as well as everyone else at the table, is completely baffled. Seriously, EA? You're trying to get a 74-year-old woman who has recently lost her husband to move out of her seat on Christmas? Shut up, OP. I don't care about the day or the person sitting on it. That seat is my seat and will always be. Now get the fuck off it, GA. This argument continues for about 5 more minutes, where EA cried how it wasn't fair that she doesn't get her spot and how she wished it was GA that was dead and not her husband. GA keeps a seat and EA grabs a plate from the spot where she would have sat, filled her plate and migrated to the living room by herself with a huff. After that commotion, the dinner went great. GA made a great joke about feeling like Rosa Parks, and we bursted out laughing. Cut to after dinner where C and I got to finish our game, only to see EA sitting at the table where we were playing with the board on the ground and game pieces scattered across the room.
What the hell, Mom? We were almost finished!
EA glares to me with a smug smile. When it cleans up? Congratulations, OP! At this point, I've had it with her, and I didn't want to be in another argument, especially on Christmas. So I just picked everything up and ignored her the rest of the evening. I mean, honestly, that's probably the best thing you could have done, man. But if that were me, I would have kicked that bitch out immediately, because we don't want to talk to people like that ruining Christmas. Especially when it comes to family, and even deceased relatives. And again, another case of an entitled little adult brat getting mad because someone else is dead and they don't get what they want, and ooh, eesh. This one was... Really hope your aunt doesn't get involved with the family anymore. I hope so. Like, I mean, she comments about how a great aunt should be dead because she had the seat that she wanted and doesn't care if the great aunt's husband is dead. She just wanted her damn seat. There are plenty of other seats, bitch. Just... yeah. Don't know why entitled people get like that on Christmas, but it's whatever, I guess. This next story is by Little Red Fox. God, it's such a cute name. And this one is about an entitled sister, more or less. Wow. Anyway, let's begin.
I know it's a bit early for a seasonal, but this story came up while talking to a friend of mine. I thought I would share it with you all. I have quite a few stories, if anyone is interested. I will post more. Cast, me, Mom, my mother, ES, entitled sister. She had one kid and one on the way. A bit of background. Every year our family would get together for the holiday after Christmas. So each of my siblings, nuclear families...
Nuclear? Ugh.
Every year our family would get together the day after Christmas, so each of my siblings and their families could have a Christmas day for themselves. They all had little kids at the time. The adults would exchange gifts, and the younger ones would get their gifts from extended family at the time. We would have stockings for everyone that would be filled with pieces of fruit, nuts, candy, and a few little things like a toy car or gloves. The stockings were intended to tie over the little ones until time to open presents. This particular get-together happened the first Christmas after my dad had passed away. He was the glue that held our whole family together, so it was a turning point for my family.
Gonna interrupt here for a little bit. I know how it feels to lose your father. I'm sure he was a good man. I lost my father a few months prior as well, and Christmas is definitely gonna be hard without him. I love you, Dad, and I miss you. R.I.P. amazing dads. R.I.P.
Mom and I were tight on budget after our loss, and I was still in school, so didn't add much to the income at the time. We've been buying gifts for my siblings' kids. There were quite a few throughout the year, so it wasn't much of a strain. My older sister, here by ES, had brought her boyfriend baby daddy, BD, and his kid, BDK, not letting us know until the last minute. Mom and I didn't have anything planned or bought anything for BDK or BD. At the time, since we weren't told that they were coming, we had to hurry and make a stocking with a few extra things we had in storage for BDK, while no one else was paying attention, so BDK was the only kid without a stocking. Now, ES liked to be in charge of everything. She had to be the one to sort and hand out the gifts to everyone. Well, this year she did the same thing. ES was sorting the gifts and became agitated. She found there were no gifts from me for BDK, though I had gifts all for my nieces and nephews. ES didn't say anything right away, just kept sorting and piling up each person's gift in preparation to hand them out. But right after she finished sorting, and before handing out the gifts, ES came over to Mom and me grumbling that we shouldn't have put anything in the stockings except batteries, because that was how BD did it at his house. That
Santa gave them all batteries for Christmas presents.
I told her that we'd never done it that way before. Why should we change our tradition because of how her BD does things? ES then shrieked that I ruined Christmas. Because of this, and not having gotten a present for BDK, I was in tears as ES berated me about how everything was ruined because of me. I don't remember much else of what happened, other than my mom saying something to her and going and grabbing something, wrapping it quickly, and putting it with BDK's pile. Luckily, we had a few little things we kept as spares for gifts. At the time, though, it wasn't much, but it was something. The rest of the day I kept to myself and didn't engage with the family much. Even though I used to absolutely love the holidays, that was when I started to dread them.
Ooh boy. The entitled sister needs to get her reality checked. Just because her baby daddy does things differently than how the tradition is, there's absolutely no need to change the family tradition just because it's the way her baby daddy boyfriend does things. Like, what? I'm sorry, what? What? Honestly, if I were the mom, I would have kicked the entitled sister out along with her baby daddy and the child to say, here are the stupid presents, get the hell out of my house, you're not welcome on Christmas. Because we don't need the toxicity on Christmas. Thank you. We are going to do one more for this one. This is the last and final story. I originally was going to do another one, but yeah, I decided against it. And this last one is by Commotionable. And this is a story about an entitled mom getting pissed off that this person didn't get expensive Christmas gifts for her child. Ooh, this is gonna be a fun one. Hey guys, the story is from 2 years ago. It happened around the time when I first moved to Vegas. I have a cousin who has 7 kids. Since I just moved, and hadn't seen them since the youngest was in diapers. Now, this cousin also has a sister who has exactly one child. For the one kid, she gets food stamps, child support, and she doesn't fucking work. She's that type of person who trades their food stamps for cash and blows her money on stupid shit like trips to Cali and weed. She literally only cares about someone if she can use them. Mind you, my cousin with a 7 works her ass off. She's a little embarrassed that she gets government help because she feels responsible for having all 7 of her children. No matter how hard she works, she makes enough for bills and the food stamps she gets, and buys enough food to last the month. Growing kids eat a lot. Mind you, I was 20, turning 21, and I always had hella money left over after every check. My bills were paid on time, and I would help my mother from time to time. We visited the kids one day, and the 3rd youngest told me that Christmas was coming, but he knows he wasn't going to get anything from Santa. But he is excited that they get to eat good food on Christmas. Kids live off of ramen and ravioli. This shattered my heart. All of our kids were well behaved for the most part, and they deserved a good Christmas. I started asking them what they wanted. In order from oldest to youngest, Dax wanted headphones and a new sweater. Jean wanted a sweater and nail polish. Darren wanted a football and cake. Junior wanted a soccer ball and cake. Z wanted Transformers and Power Rangers. Nana wanted My Little Pony. Jay wanted anything Paw Patrol. Names are changed, of course. So I talked to my cousin in Spanish, since the kids don't understand it yet, and I tell her how I would take off Christmas, and how I wanted to take the kids for her. She looked like she wanted to cry. She thanked me, and told me she would try and pay me back. I told her no. She stated she would pick up an extra shift, because she still wanted to get them something. So I got paid, and gave myself a $40 limit per kid. I got each kid 2 big presents from Walmart, and with the remaining money, I got them all small stuff from the dollar store. Her kids appreciated everything you get them. The 2 wanted cake. They got cake. I even put a bow on that bitch. We hid it behind the milk and eggs in the fridge. Now I guess my cousin told her sister, because I got a call from her sister, and this is how the conversation went. EC entitled cousin, me, obviously, GC, good child, his mom is a piece of shit though, but he isn't.
Chris told me you were doing Christmas for kids.
Yeah, they're spending Christmas Eve at my house. Mom's cooking dinner, and we open presents the next morning.
Surely you have room for one more.
Are you talking about GC?
Of course I am.
Alright, no problem. Drop him off Christmas Eve night so we can eat and watch movies, then pick him up the next morning.
No problem.
Mind you guys, after buying the kids their presents, and my parents theirs, I was a little broke. EC called me the day before Christmas Eve, so I scrounged what I could, and got GC some dollar store toys. Christmas Eve comes, and my mom picks up the 7 and brings them to the house. They're all flabbergasted by the presents under the tree, and in the stockings with their names. The older one's giving about what they got. I wait an hour or 2, and EC never brings GC, so we feed the kids and start watching movies. After about 3 movies, all the kids passed out to food comas. The next morning we wake, and there was no word from EC. The kids start diving into their presents. Junior and Darren have some Christmas cake, and they share with their siblings. Everything is in full swing, then banging on the door. I open it, and I'm not really happy. Why the fuck are you banging on my door? Oh, it's you guys. Why didn't you bring GC last night?
Watch your mouth. I got busy and we couldn't make it.
Me smelling bullshit and rolling my eyes. You've said worse stuff in front of GC. You wanna come in?
Sorry, we don't have time. Can we just get his presents, his meal, and go?
His meal?
Yeah, your mom cooked.
Yeah, last night. You were busy and the kids ate it all.
You didn't save GC a plate.
You never brought him, so no.
Whatever. Just give us his presents.
GC looks like he wants to stay and play. I felt bad for the kid. I walked in and swam through wrapping paper till I got to GC's presents. They were small, so I put them in a gift bag. He put them on my porch, and his eyes lit up.
Whoa, a ninja! A wrestler! Ooh, silly putty! I got a puzzle! Thank you so much, Momo!
I got a little glomp. I hugged him back and said Merry Christmas.
That's it?
I give her a look, trying to compose myself, bitch meter rising. What do you mean?
How much did you spend on them?
None of your business.
You know, you're selfish. You bought them these cheap-ass toys so you could buy Chris and her kids all that shit. Let GC have one of each of their toys so it's fair.
Bitch meter explodes. Are you insane? Closes the door and covers GC's ears. It's Christmas. Be glad I bought anything at all. You only ever call us when you want something. You rob your son of good time because you only care about yourself. It's not fair to him. You spend your money on bullshit when you have a whole child to care for. You only have one child Because you milk your baby daddy, that poor soul pays hella money for his son, but you spend that money on your nails and weed. How about you act your age and be responsible for once? EC looked shocked.
Who do you think you are?
A woman who didn't try to trap a man by getting pregnant on purpose. A woman who didn't get assistance but pays taxes so lazy bitches like you can feed your kid. The woman that brought your kid Christmas presents because I wasn't selfish like his mother. EC looked like she wanted to hit me. She would have swung if my mom hadn't come outside. EC, intimidated by my mom, takes GC and leaves. She ended up moving to Chicago to mooch off of her mother now. I hope GC is okay, and that he doesn't pick up her horrible habits. Edit. So we talked to my cousin with a 7, and she got a hold of her mother in Chicago. GC is taller now. Damn genes. And his grandmother now has legal custody of him. His mother was in trouble with the law, not drug-related, and is serving time in lost custody. His father lives here in Vegas, and he can't afford to take care of him since he's struggling to take care of himself. GC is planning a trip to save up his allowance, so he can come visit us. I gave him $250 to help. Thank you guys for your love and support. And yet again, this is another case of an entitled mother being selfish and expecting more things because she has a kid, and yet she is mentally abusing the kid and distancing herself from said kid, and denying him to have fun at all. Because she wants to have fun, she wants to do whatever she wants. Parents, if you're like this, grow the hell up. And GC was really, really grateful in this story. I mean, I know there are some cases where the entitled parent's child is also an entitled little crotch goblin, but there are other cases where the entitled parent's child is a well-behaved, well-mannered, lovely little angel. And this kid is one of those examples. All in all, I am glad that the grandmother now has custody of that child and the mother is in jail. Though it is pretty sad that the dad can't afford to take care of his son because he's struggling to take care of himself. But at the same time, it's kind of understandable, and I'm just glad that the grandmother is a second parent to GC, so
all's well that ends well in this one.
So pups, to end this Christmas version of Entitled Parents off, do you have an Entitled Parents Christmas story that you want to share with me? Were you the entitled parent? Did you have an encounter with an entitled parent? Or was your parent the entitled parent on Christmas? Because I know mine was, and that was just not a very good experience. It was mostly my mother. Yeah. All that aside, if you do have an entitled parent story, whether it's a Christmas one or a regular one or one on any other holiday or any other day, then share in the comments below if you want to. And we all know that Santa is going to be checking his list not once, not twice, but a million times over to see which entitled parent and their child is naughty or nice. They may get cold for Christmas and they're gonna be all Karen to their to Santa and be like, Santa, I want to see your manager. Why did you give me and my child cold for Christmas and not what we wanted? And yeah, Santa probably don't take shit from nobody in this case. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Huge shout out to my Patreon for their support. If you guys want to support my channel, what I do, and everything else, my Patreon is in the description below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Cue the outro. RP is out. Peace.